It's our final Broncos Camp Daily. We go back and look at how things were different with head coach Sean Payton in charge. Plus, it's year 2 of Russell Wilson in Denver. What kind of jump can we expect there? And how good is this Broncos secondary going to be? We'll hear from PS2 coming up next. Broncos Camp Daily starts right now. Hello, thank you for joining us for our final Broncos Camp Daily. I am Phil Milani, joined as always by the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater and our Hall of Famer Nick Ferguson.
Nick Ferg.
Yeah, guys, it's been a good training camp. 17 days of good work for this team out there. Things a little bit different though, a different energy out there with Sean Payton.
Yeah, different energy for sure. Last year was kind of laid back and someone called it club med, but this year is just a little different. You can see there's a little more accountability, a little more attention to detail. Not as much pads popping as I would like, but you can see that there was coaches who were actually teaching and going through the fundamentals, and that was kind of the biggest takeaway for me watching this team this year opposed to last year.
Yeah, and I think the focus was on physicality. You know, now I know you can't beat up your teammates, but they had tackling dummies that they're practicing the tackling drills on. And I thought the first game was a nice physical game, especially from our defense in terms of their aggressiveness in attacking the offense of the Arizona Cardinals. So hopefully that mentality will carry over into the regular season where we're taking the fight to them.
And it seems like tempo was a big thing. I mean, just everything was like just at a faster pace, it felt like. Nick.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you mentioned that, talk about tempo. That's one thing that Sean Payton wanted to emphasize, getting in and out of the huddle. Last year, we saw a lot of problems offensively because they couldn't even get the drive started because they couldn't get the play in, which made it tougher for the offensive lineman to block and Russell to go through his progressions. But now it's speeding things up. How quickly can you get in and out of the huddle, and how quickly could you make a decision, which is going to pay dividends during the season?
Offensive players need to know that it makes it tough on defenders when you run that hurry-up offense or when you're just quick to be at the line of scrimmage. If you got a guy, some of the defensive linemen, they like to run out and somebody else sub in for them.
Tapping their heads.
They don't have time for that. They got to be on the field. They got to play their play tired. And so it kind of puts you at a little bit of a disadvantage. So offensive players, make sure you take that to heart. That up-tempo is very good.
Yeah, we even saw guys running gassers after practice. So just a little bit of a different mindset this year at Broncos training camp. Physicality, tempo, teaching. Those are some of the things you guys mentioned here. Well, we went back and here's what Sean Payton had to say. We compiled a bit of sound bites here about how he has instilled his culture.
First day, it's good to have him out here. Yesterday, everyone reported. These guys learning in the meetings, watching the tape, you know, trying to avoid the repeated mistakes, that kind of thing. Look, we have a lot of guys working right now. It's early. We're getting to know the guys that have been here, and then there's some guys that we brought in. Well, when the pads come on, we've always had 9-on-7 and 1-on-1 with the receivers. You'll see a lot of it in this camp. Thought we had good work today. A lot of situational stuff we covered, third down, red zone, then we went through a 4-minute drill. So our first full padded practice this week. We'll get a couple more in. Today was a nice day. The temperature's good. We had a good crowd, but we're in camp still, and there's no light even at the end of the tunnel. It's dark.
So some good stuff there from head coach Sean Payton, and of course a lot of attention on how he's working with Russell Wilson. At the start of camp, it was a slow start for that offense, but the last 2 weeks, a week and a half, much better.
Yeah, it's been kind of a slow build-up, and that's kind of anticipated when you were in training camp because usually the defense gets out to a faster start than the offense, and once the offense starts to implement a lot of their gadget types of plays, we see now those roles type of reverse, and we saw Russell struggle at times trying to establish that chemistry, but as of late, it just seems as though he's been spot on. And I know it's not a game, it's practice, but this is where you start to stack those bricks for what you're going to see during the season. And that chemistry is definitely starting to show up.
Yeah, as of late, it really has looked solid. It looks like the offense is really come together nicely. The quarterback can get you the ball and you can hold on to it. We know Jerry Jeudy run after the catch is crazy. Cortland Sutton, those jump balls. And I'm looking to see how Marvin Mims is able to do when he runs by guys sitting flat-footed.
Yes.
It's a new offense. Guys picking up things, just learning how Sean wants to do it. How big is like timing?
Well, that's all important. That's kind of the fundamentals that they teach quarterbacks. Once you hit that back foot in a 3-step drop, the ball's got to be gone. You have to make a decision. If it's not your first read, it's quickly going to your second read. So it's forcing Russ as a quarterback to be more decisive. And also what I'm seeing from Russ in this particular camp, usually when you're a mobile quarterback, it terrifies offensive coordinators because they don't know if you're going to stay with the play or you're going to start to run out the back door. Russell, going back to the Arizona game, he's sitting in the pocket. He's taking those shots, delivering the ball down the field, trying to show that, hey, I have pocket awareness, but hey, I'm looking to deliver the ball down the field. And that's something that if he continues to do it, this offense will look great this season.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. The timing looks much better, and Russ is hanging in the pocket, and when he needs to scramble, he's scrambling. And the biggest thing for me is the receivers, you also got to come back to the ball, and they've been doing a better job of doing that here recently as well. And they got to keep that up during the season because that makes the quarterback job a little bit easier. You're helping them out by coming back, and so the receiver can't necessarily jump in front of you, knock that ball down, or intercept it.
Here's what Russell Wilson had to say about the progress that the offensive side of the ball has made throughout camp.
At the end of the day, it's all about making plays. We're doing that, a great job of that. But I think also, we're feeling really confident in terms of what we're doing, the identity of who we want to be. Obviously, being a physical, running football team, being a team that can also, throw the ball, around the field and got a lot of playmakers.
On the other side of the ball, let's talk about this Broncos secondary. It looks like it's got a chance to be a special unit. Some guys dinged up throughout the course of camp, but when healthy, this could be a special squad.
Absolutely. You just kind of look at the guys they have in the back end, and when you try to determine how good a secondary can be, it's not just based on the starters, it's the guys in waiting. And due to some of those injuries early in camp, it's given a lot of guys an opportunity to go out there and get quality game reps that they wouldn't have received before. So this secondary has the potential to be one of the better secondaries in the league, but we both know, Steve and I, is that coverage and pass rush are connected. They are married. So if the secondary is doing well, that means they must be doing something good up front.
100%. You got to have those big dogs up front hunting, and I think that they will do that. Got a lot of competition at each position there. But the cornerback position is interesting because Jaquan McMillan, he stepped up. Essang Bassi has stepped up here lately, and I'm really excited to see these safeties, these young safeties, the J.L. Skinners, the DeLauren Turner-Yell, P.J. Locke, who we've seen. He's been here, but he's banged up a little bit right now. But I want to see these guys get in there and make some plays and let everybody know that, hey, not only am I good in my mind, I'm good on the field. And you guys see me, and you see me being productive out there.
But that's a great problem to have when you have so many guys coming down to cut day trying to figure out which guys are going to make the team, which guys we're going to depart with, and who we're going to put on the practice squad. That is a problem that you want to have because that means competition in that room has taken a step above what it was last year, but it also plays to Vance Joseph, who's going to be dependent this year to have one of the top 5 defenses in this league.
One guy that VJ doesn't need to worry about is PS2. This guy, probably the best cornerback in the league. Everybody likes to rank the corners all across the league. One guy who doesn't do that, though, is Pat Surtain II himself.
Of course, I'm looking at myself as the best, but, I ain't going to try to, get into the politics, get into all the rankings and stuff. I'm just playing my game, and sharpen my tools every day, sharpen my skill set, and make sure, I keep on getting better each and every week, and, that's my main focus, just getting better for the team, and focusing on that.
Time to wrap up the show now as we wrap up Broncos camp. Guys, there's still 2 more preseason games to go. What are you hoping to see from these guys?
Well, the first thing, and I think it's job one, is no more injuries. You want to get out clean in these last 2 preseason games. Make sure you got proper evaluation because when guys get nicked up, from a coaching standpoint, it's hard to evaluate someone that you really hadn't had an opportunity to really see fully on the field. But that's kind of the biggest thing. Get through this thing. Now you can say the preseason is over. Now we can get to the season where the games really count. And now the team has got to get off to a fast start.
I want the guys to continue to showing that continue showing that they know the playbook, that they've been studying, they've been doing the work that needs to be done to be a great offensive or defensive or even special teams player. Secondly, I like to see the effort. The effort has to be off the charts. When coaches turn on the film, they want to see who's the first guy down. Oh my goodness, I didn't know he could run that fast. And then once you get there, you got to make the play. You got to have an impact and make people get out of their seats. Whoa, who is that? Who did that?
Calm down, Steve.
He's talking about injuries. Come on, you gotta be safe.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, man.
See, that's the physicality of Steve.
It's a mindset.
You walk around and he's like the calmest person you meet, but guess what? That is still deep inside of him, and he's right. That's exactly what these players will have to do. Sean Payton wants his team to be more physical than they were last year. It's going to start up front with the defensive line setting the tone, but also that offensive line showing as though they can be road graders. So if this team can demonstrate that physicality, then things will turn around for this team this season.
All right, well, a couple more weeks to go before they kick things off for real against the Raiders. A lot of work still left to be done, but that's our look back at 17 days of training camp here. Hopefully you've enjoyed all of our coverage. Thank you so much, guys. This was fun, right? Wrapping it all up?
Always fun.
Yes,
Always fun.
it's fun, but I guess it sometimes can be intimidating sitting next to Steve. Because you never know, man.
Scary.
He's going to think, hunt one, hunt two, he's back in there. You never know, so you got to
He's
get out of
ready
his
to
way.
go.
I'm calm, Nick. I'm calm, baby.
All right, that's going to do it for us. For Steve Atwater and Nick Ferguson, I'm Phil Milani. This is our final Broncos Camp Daily.